Welcome to Cobra Kai Never Dies. I'm your host, Nina.
I'm your other host, Lata.
And today we're talking about episode 7, All Valley. Dun,
Well,
dun, dun.
Before we launch into this week's episode synopsis, we're introducing a new feature on this podcast called Mailbag. And the reason that we're able to do that is because...
We got mail!
We got mail! We got our very first email from a listener.
I know!
So Dana, if you're out there listening to another episode of Cobra Kai, thank you for enabling us to have this feature in the first place.
You are the reason we have a mailbag section of our podcast.
Yes, which, might not last longer than this exact episode.
Are we going to be writing emails to ourselves
we
for
might.
the rest of this podcast?
I mean, yeah, just to keep up the excitement that we felt opening this lovely email where...
Very thoughtful.
Dana wrote in responding to something that we said in our previous episode, where we were talking about how Miyagi's gravestone refers to him as a husband and a father, but you never actually meet his children. And we had this long discussion about a possible spin-off where Miyagi's son, the true heir to Miyagi-Do, comes back. But, as Dana pointed out, in the original movie, which I honestly did not remember this part, but Pat Morita does talk about how he had a wife and he had a newborn son, and they both died in one of the internment camps during World War II.
Which makes us feel really awful
Yeah.
about the mockery.
I know. I actually
we reserve a lot
feel
of mockery for
terrible.
Daniel, and we're usually justified in that. But Pat Morita,
Pat Morita, yeah,
and
man.
Miyagi
I don't have a bad thing to say about Miyagi, except that I think that sometimes Daniel imparts his lessons in the goofiest way possible.
I think we actually got a YouTube comment also mentioning that Miyagi's family. I prefer.
Thank you, John, for also pointing that out.
Our outlandish theories about, maybe Miyagi has other children that he doesn't know about.
What kind of aspersions are you casting on Miyagi now?
I'm saying maybe Miyagi got around.
My God.
What?
Listeners, she stands alone on this. I know that.
Now you're defending Miyagi's honor.
Yeah, Miyagi would
Okay,
never do
shall
that.
we go back to the last episode?
Well, I wasn't mocking his gravestone. I was mocking the autumnal setting of his California graveyard. That makes no sense. Anyway, so we have also, Dana also pointed out that we are rather Daniel negative on this podcast. And you know what? This is true. We definitely give Daniel a hard time. I can't refute that.
I know, and I don't even... Okay, can I blame it on the show's producers? They call the show Cobra Kai, and they do have a perspective, but I do feel... It's true. They're trying to... It's going to get a little bit more balanced, I think. The show, I mean. Whether we remain balanced...
We'll see. But
yeah, we'll try.
I actually credit Ralph Macchio for taking this character and actually doing stuff that makes him look like a douchebag.
And also...
which makes me feel good about Ralph Macchio.
I am an unabashed fan of Ralph Macchio. The actor.
Yeah.
The character of Daniel, I think I loved him most in the original set of Karate Kid movies. This show is not showing him in the best light.
Well, I mean, yeah, and definitely, I too was in love with the young Ralph Macchio.
Who wasn't?
Oh God, yeah, in the 80s, he's. The thing is, I like him as an actor a lot, just because he isn't afraid to poke holes in his own character, and also there is an unfairness in the comparison between Johnny Lawrence and Daniel, because it's so much more fun to play the bad Santa type guy who's getting drunk and tutoring his students. It's a little harder to make the wholesome young citizen as fun a character, And I think Ralph Macchio does the best he can with it, and he has fun with it.
Yeah.
All of that said, thank you for the email, and hopefully we can do this feature one more week. So please, if you guys have any questions or comments or accusations or praise to hurl, we would love to hear it.
We're here for all of it. And also, we will be, as we've mentioned, reviewing the original Karate Kid movies at some point.
After we wrap up this season, before doing season 2.
Yeah, covering some of the gaps in our Karate Kid knowledge, of which there are many.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I felt a little embarrassed that I didn't remember that from the first film, which was my Bible as a kid.
I know.
We got to revisit it. Now, on to All Valley.
All Valley, yes. Okay. So the IMDb synopsis for this week is when Johnny learns Cobra Kai is banned from the All Valley tournament, he faces the city council. Miguel asks Samantha out. Robbie takes lessons from Daniel, just as his buddies plot a heist from LaRusso Auto. Yes, it's Ocean's 12 in Robbie's world. A heist. Can it even really be called a heist if you just get a code and you're stealing some rims or whatever?
They were planning on stealing rims and stereo parts.
It's a
just
little
to recap,
IMDb.
Robbie's two thug buddies who look like they are in their 40s.
Now they're in their 50s.
Yeah.
Easily.
It's just it's interesting just to see them all at a table and
Robbie's like 16. I just, how did they meet? What's going on? Did they meet in juvie? Like,
these guys are long beyond juvie. I mean, seriously.
Oh, yeah.
They both look like
For
they're 47,
sure.
but they're wearing, like, flannel shirts like all the kids do,
he needs
apparently.
to get new friends. I genuinely felt bad for Robbie.
Age-appropriate friends.
Yeah,
I know.
I think something must have gone horribly wrong that he's... Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, why are you hanging out with these near senior citizens?
Can I ask a question? Do you think Robbie is still going to high school?
No.
Or no?
No,
Okay.
he's not going to high school. He is...
Okay.
Full-time
He's
interning at LaRusso Auto / getting involved with capers with his age-inappropriate friends who want him to help them steal stuff from LaRusso Auto. Robbie's like, now that Robbie is no longer a scoundrel and is a good kid learning karate.
Did you notice that he officially has a shirt with his name on it?
He does. I think that was a big turning point for him.
Yeah, I didn't realize this, but at the end of the last episode, when we noted that he watches his father, Johnny, give a gi to Miguel. Was that in the last episode?
Yeah,
I think it was. Yes. I think the drive to get a shirt with his name on it it's like his gi. I mean, the lamer version
That's
of
the
gi,
saddest thing I've ever heard.
But it's a LaRusso Auto shirt with his name on it.
I've never felt sorry for Robbie than I do
know!
at this moment. Wow.
I know!
I mean, he earned that auto shirt because, Daniel in this episode is having him do... Daniel in this episode is Miyagiing him. Having him, do, the wax-on, wax-off thing with cars and, wash the windows in a particular way.
And also very, also some auto dealership-specific moves, including stapling contracts together.
Mm-hmm. But in,
what
a really...
What do you think is that?
Right, it's like when you push your opponent's head to the floor, just like the head of a stapler. Yeah. So you see that.
Fun.
It's pretty fun. It's a pretty good montage. And it's, it's fun to see, this really good and obviously blatant callback to the first movie. And then, of course, Robbie's like, what the hell, I'm just doing chores. But then you see him actually practicing with Daniel, and oh my god, that stapler technique is really coming in handy.
I know.
One thing, I noted it in my notes for this episode, his hair's long, he really should wear a headband when he does karate. It's gotta be getting in his eyes.
Yeah, but I mean...
Safety first.
So how long do you think it's been since he started taking... karate lessons with Daniel?
Like a week.
Like a week, right?
2
okay.
weeks. Which,
I don't know if we want to get into this, but...
let's get into it.
Okay. I was going to say...
I don't know what we're getting into, but let's get into it.
So just... I assume everyone's watched this episode, but he essentially, at the point when he's supposed to turn over the code to the LaRusso Auto dealership to his buddies...
His thug buddies.
He takes a stance for Daniel... for Miyagi, for his honor.
That's right.
And he refuses to give the code, and then he gets into it with his buddies.
He busts out some karate moves.
And he's way better at karate than he has any right to be.
Yeah, I mean, Miguel was
lessons.
getting his ass handed to him after a few weeks of karate lessons.
Kyler can't fight.
Right.
Mean, come on now.
Whereas, these 47-year-olds have learned some moves.
I was
on
like,
the streets.
okay,
they're something.
They would have had a knife and they would have stabbed Robbie to death. I'm just saying,
right?
The streets of Encino are not kind to people like Robbie.
Right. I was just kind of like, no, this is too fast. I will give this scene credit for that. At the end, they do overpower him, but Robbie has, I think, entrapped them in a cunning plot because now he's in direct view of the security camera, and so are his former buddies.
Yeah.
And so they dash off into the night, and Robbie proves that he is no longer a bad seed. He is a good seed. Speaking of seeds and plants.
Oh, yeah. The planting metaphors are just haywire in this episode. Yeah.
Now what you gotta do is close your eyes, get everything out of your head. The only thing you can see is the tree. Think only the tree. Then you visualize what you want that tree to look like, and you make it happen. That's it. There you go.
So this is obviously some kind of metaphor. Trees like my feelings or something.
Well, you are the tree, Robbie. You got strong roots. You know who you are, right? So now all you gotta do is visualize what you want your future to look like. And then you make it happen.
I think that Robbie spots the obvious metaphor of bonsais and how they relate to him pretty quickly. So does actually Daniel's wife, to be honest.
Oh, wow. You're letting him touch your precious bonsais. It's like third base for you, babe.
Would you say, when you hear the word, or the phrase trimming bonsais, what do you...
God, Nina.
I'm just wondering...
What the hell? This is a family show, and I feel like you just turned it into something sordid.
I will also, getting away from that rather gross metaphor, I'm not saying it is gross. I don't know what it means. I'm not saying it means anything. God, I really dug myself. Okay, anyway. Amanda, his wife, also alludes to Mr. Miyagi's Little Trees, which is one of, like, Daniel's past businesses.
Right, wasn't that from the third movie when they opened the bonsai store?
Yeah. But no. That Daniel was still a kid then, though.
Oh, yeah.
So this must have been while he was married to Amanda. They must have...
Opened a bonsai store?
I feel like that's what they're alluding to.
Wow. I hope showrunners...
Because then I immediately thought, like, how many failed businesses does Daniel LaRusso have
Showrunners, if you can, like, and you do, like, a prequel to Cobra Kai.
Apparently they just had a Q&A, because I follow them on Twitter. They had a Q&A at Comic-Con, which I haven't seen yet, but I'm hoping for a lot of things. I'm hoping that somebody asks a question about Anthony LaRusso. I'm hoping that someone asks about, how is Daniel's business model holding up?
He's doing quite well for himself, thanks.
Yep, still rich.
Still rich. Little Trees did not bankrupt them at all. Anyways, I think we've exhausted all bonsai talk and all bonsai metaphors.
Yes, but have we exhausted Robbie's plot line?
Oh. Well, that's all that happens to him this week.
That's true.
He's clearly growing closer to Daniel, and obviously, like, seeing him as a father figure, as a parallel, of course, to our other pseudo-father-son couple in this show. We are talking, of course, about Miguel and Johnny Lawrence, who both have their own plot lines this week.
Yes. So, at Cobra Kai, we now have, it's still a full dojo. I gotta say, Hawk is extremely Hawk. He has a Hawk tattoo now on his back.
But don't tell his parents, because they'll kill him for it.
Yeah,
but,
so he's still got some, like, tender side.
He's still, like, a little nerdy, but he's got a Hawk tattoo. 14 hours in the chair. And, also, I just want to mention this, because I thought it was fun. When Johnny's doing his Johnny thing and, like, correcting his students' stances and making them flinch and things like that, he realizes that all of them are still, like, they're a little afraid, because they're a bunch of, like, former losers, and they're still afraid to get hit. Which I get. That's a common fear, especially if you're kind of...
It's not just getting hit. He said, none of you have taken a punch in the face.
None of you have taken a punch. And so he actually lines them all up and has Aisha, Miss Robinson, as he calls her, punch each of them in the face.
And I gotta say, that look in Aisha's face when she's about to punch that kid in the front row is chilling. She clearly relishes.
I disagree. I disagree completely.
God.
She clearly doesn't want to do it. She's clearly hesitant about it.
No, I don't.
You're misreading her face. I know her face like the back of my hand.
Do you?
That was weird.
That is extremely weird. Listeners, please write in. I say Aisha, out of anyone else in the show, out of the full dojo at Cobra Kai, I think she has the potential to be kind of the most lethal and the most kind of unrepentant old school Cobra Kai, which is no mercy. She embodies no mercy.
I absolutely disagree.
Yeah. She has a glint in her eye.
She does not have a glint in her eye.
Of all of the bullied kids, I think she's the one who's not going to be able to... I think that Halloween dance incident changed her forever.
Oh my god. This Darth Aisha theory? No.
No.
Okay, listeners... Write in and say what you think about this, because I honestly think...
You know what? We're going to have a Twitter poll about this.
She's basically a good soldier. She does not want to punch these kids in the face, but she will. And I think, also, I noticed that when Johnny asks people to raise their hand if they've ever been punched in the face. Most of the class raises their hand. Notice that she did not raise her hand. So I think that I think that like she's actually, I don't know. I think she sees the value in this, in like, and I actually,
she definitely sees the value,
but she doesn't want to do
bloodthirsty.
it. She's not bloodthirsty. I'm gonna say that I actually think it's an exercise, and now you're gonna pay
Punch
me.
yourself in the face.
Yeah, punch yourself in the face. But no, I'm serious. Like, I kind of understand in the twisted like logic of Cobra Kai, like. You're not going to be, you're going to be really afraid of being hit until it happens, right? So it's almost like something that you need to get over with. So I get what he's trying to do with this lesson.
For those who can't see, Lata is clenching her fist right now and leaning towards me menacingly.
Oh my god.
And if you happen to hear me go down in this episode, well,
you know,
it was the natural outgrowth of this podcast.
You'll thank me for it later. Anyway.
Anyway.
So Johnny's big plot line is actually that he wants to enter his dojo into the All Valley tournament.
Which, mark your calendars, is May 19th.
Woo.
Of next year.
He calls him up, and he tries to enter him, but it turns out that All Valley has, the tournament has actually banned Cobra Kai. And so he decides that he's going to, like, go down there and kick their asses, but Miguel, voice of reason Miguel, is like, well, maybe you should not kick their asses. Maybe you should be smart about it. So I thought that was cool just because, like, you know, Miguel is sort of senseiing Johnny this week just as much as he is being senseied. For he basically is just like, don't take no for an answer, but also, like, be smart about what you do. So you have Johnny going down there with a fake briefcase that has nothing in it.
I love that.
Right?
That he found in the trash.
Yeah, it's a nice touch. He's doing this anger management thing that Miguel basically taught him, which is when you want to punch somebody, just clench your fist and don't punch them.
Do you think that's useful?
I think I will use that in my own life.
I think
from
if
now
someone
on.
saw you just clencing and unclenching your fists, it would also be kind of suspicious.
I'm doing that right now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I think that it really does help him, like, with what he does, because he comes down, and first of all, can I say that I love the All Valley Committee, because I think, this is another thing I love about this show, that they really understand exactly, like, what the All Valley Committee is, which is, like, 5, like, bored people in a room with, like, squeaky linoleum who are arguing over whether the mats should be red or blue.
It's probably in the back of the high school.
Right.
And it meets once a year?
It meets once a year, and they need to get out of there by 8, because that's when the AA meeting takes over the room, you know, and it's just like, of course, yes, that is the All Valley
I feel
Committee.
bad for Johnny, because as soon as he steps in the room, they're like, they peg him for someone at the AA meeting.
Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is that, so first he's like, you banned my dojo, and they're honestly like, we have the power to do that? I didn't realize that. Like, you know, they're just like, well, at this point, they're just 4 kind of like, uninvested people, and then Daniel, 5th member of the committee, strolls in.
Perhaps, I don't know, the heavyweight. He's like a conquering hero. He's like, oh yeah, remember the 1981 All Valley that I won? And he comes back every year, and he's never missed a meeting.
And he's clearly the only member of the committee who's, like, really zealous about this.
Cares?
The rest are just like, how about blue mats?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and like they like basically think that Johnny is there to complain about the bad corn dogs they had last year. It's like,
corn dogs.
they know what this event is. It's really only Daniel and Johnny who, like, consider it, like, this kind of, like, lifetime brawl that will never end. But then, Johnny gives a good speech defending himself when, Daniel brings up the fact that Cobra Kai has been banned for life because of the unethical acts of John Kreese.
Terry Silver.
Yeah.
God.
Former dojo senseis, if you will recall.
They'll also be an early Karate Crush for me. My love
Terry
for
Silver,
Terry Silver, I am going on record.
Was it the ponytail?
I think so.
It was mostly the ponytail.
It may have started my thing for guys with ponytails.
Oh, God.
Oh. Okay. We're going to strike this from the... We're going to edit this out, yes?
We don't strike. Except first.
We strike first.
Yeah.
We don't strike out. Anyway, yeah, I feel like they're alluding to this dark time in the 80s when Cobra Kai was like the Hells Angels and was like running amok and doing all sorts of things.
But now Cobra Kai, under the reign of Johnny Lawrence, is something
Softer,
friendlier, but still badass.
Yeah.
I admit Cobra Kai had its share of problems in the 80s. My sensei didn't always play by the rules. That's why I left. But my Cobra Kai is different. It's a place where kids can come and feel like they belong. Where they won't get picked on just because they're a bunch of losers, but because they're unique. I've watched firsthand as my students have gotten stronger, gained confidence, learn how to stand up for themselves. Cobra Kai is making a difference in these kids' lives. And honestly, they're making a difference in mine as well. Thank you.
That doesn't sound at all like the old Cobra Kai.
It's a badass name for a dojo, by the way.
I think I speak for all of us when I say the community could use more men like you, Mr. Lawrence.
Thank you, ma'am.
I think after that speech, there's at least one member of the city council that is feeling Johnny pretty hard. I would say.
Right?
Yeah, everyone was moved. We were moved.
We're always moved, though.
And so then the council votes to let Cobra Kai back in. Daniel's in a snit about it, predictably.
He's so snitty.
Man.
And, you know, that's all right, because you do see Daniel, like, wander in there all, like, full of himself, and then he leaves, like, you know, with a sarcastic congratulations. And I'm being, like, pretty Daniel negative right now.
I think what I love about the show is the successes are are on such a small scale, right?
Yes.
It's about everyone eking out a living in this terrible town, and where, like, karate rules everyone's life in some way.
It's not Friday Night Lights, Nina, but...
I've never seen that show, but it may as well be.
But, no, I agree. Like, all of these things that have, like, a really grandiose scale in the lives of these two men, or objectively speaking, like, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Like, the other committee members don't really care. So that's kind of fun. Getting to our last and most romantical plot.
Oh, yeah.
Miguel and Sam. So Miguel... Like, when he and Johnny are having their sensei-to-sensei moments, if you will, Johnny, like, advises him on how to ask her out on a date. Kind of gives him the Cobra Kai, don't take no for an answer philosophy, which Miguel was...
dating
right,
advice.
Miguel was rather horrified by it. But I like... Miguel's interpretation is more like, he asked Sam out. She basically is like, oh, that sounds fun, but, you know, I mean, after I got out of the thing with Kyler...
Kyler scarred her for life.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not really sure I'm ready to date. He's like, okay, fine. But then he turns around, and I like that instead of interpreting don't take no for an answer in some, like, creepy incel way, like, how dare she, you know. He's more like, well, what if it's not a date? What if we just consider it a friendly outing? And I totally get why, if you're Sam, you'd say yes to one and not the other, because a date is filled with all sorts of pressure, right? Whereas it's just
really,
like...
but if someone did that right after they asked you out on a normal date, and then they were like, actually, just kidding, it's a hangout, would you ever believe them? I think it's a little... Miguel, and we all love Miguel.
I know.
But I think it's a little manipulative.
So you wouldn't take that strategy coming from, like,
I mean, I'm
life.
saying if I really, liked someone, but I wasn't ready to, like, go on a date with them, and they just asked me out, and then now they're trying to reframe basically the same outing, the same night, as a not date. I don't know.
You know?
It's so transparently a ploy.
I do see your point, but, like, I'm going to say that it's a tactic, not a tactic, but it's, like, one thing that
works
is...
because she
already likes him a bit to begin with. But it is something where I'll say that, like, if you're a girl and a guy is asking you out and you're kind of not sure about it, there's nothing that will make her absolutely sure she doesn't want to go out with you than if you make her feel like, really? Well, like, you're the love of my life and we need to do this right now. Do you know what I mean? Like, It's, if you back off a little bit and are like, okay, sure, whatever, we can be friends, and you, like, sound like you might actually mean it, you
have to actually mean it.
Yeah. I think it helps a little bit if you just, like, sort of, like, dial it back a little bit. It can really, like, guys out there, 17-year-olds out there who are wondering how to ask out a girl, it's like, if you say that you like her and she's not immediately on board, oftentimes just, like, actually and truly dialing it back and being like, that's cool, can be helpful for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Whether it works out with her romantically or not.
I think Miguel gets that. I don't know that it's quite Johnny's advice.
I don't know.
It's just like,
it's just basically...
Is she hot? Is
she
hot?
No. It's basically Miguel's excellent interpretation of Johnny's advice. And, there was a thing, yeah. The other thing is that, like, his original plan for a date with her is to take her to the observatory, have a picnic on the grass, a chocolate
talk about
tasting.
that?
This is actually what I'm saying. That's a terrible idea because again, that's like the datiest date that ever dated. That is not what you want to do.
Also, can I say the way he got that idea from her former best friend Aisha, and I gotta say I have to laugh because Aisha and Sam have been best friends for years, and the two things that she knows about her friend are that she likes chocolate and astronomy. I don't even know. Does that mean that Sam is maybe... I don't know. Sam is a black box to me. Man. I don't understand what drives this woman.
All right, I'm going to defend Sam. Who does not like chocolate and astronomy?
I know, but I mean, imagine if you've been best friends for years, and someone asked you to describe me. And those are the two things that you can come up with.
Okay, let me think about what I'd come up with for you.
It better not be astronomy and chocolate. That's all I'm saying. I'm insulted on Sam's behalf. Maybe
Bruce
that's why
Springsteen and the worst movies ever produced in the 1980s.
It's a little reductive. I mean, weirdly, yeah.
I don't know. I reduced you pretty well, just like that.
It just makes me think maybe Aisha and Sam were never really friends.
All right, now let's play this game. What would you tell somebody about me if they were going to ask me out on a date? 2 things about me.
All I can think about is strike first, strike hard, no mercy. That is the essence of who you are.
That's a little reductive,
sorry.
But okay, that's fine. That's okay.
Yeah.
Our friendship has taken quite a few blows today, wouldn't you say?
Oh, God. Puns. Terrible, terrible puns.
I do like puns.
Or you could say it was like part of Aisha's secret plan to be like, how do I make Sam seem extremely weird and lame? Anyway.
I don't have a problem with those being the 2 things Sam's into, but yeah, the original date is just like, dude, that's too romantic. It's too much pressure. It'll turn her off immediately. And I'll give Johnny Lawrence credit for saying, do not do that. Take her to golf and stuff.
Golf and stuff. What do you think the stuff is? So there's
so much stuff. There's air hockey and foosball.
So it's like a Dave and Buster's.
Yeah, it's like
and we do know this that golf and stuff is. Yeah, my computer's flipping out. Golf and stuff is the place that
Allie and Daniel went on their first date at. So nice.
It's a really nice callback.
Lots of callbacks here. The date is actually, I'm a cynical asshole.
Oh no.
I will say this, but the date is actually very cute. It's...
Yeah, I agree, and I'm not a huge fan of Sam, obviously.
Yeah, but just Sam and Miguel together, they seem like they play off each other nicely. He wins her an octopus, which is cool.
I know, and also, I think 10 minutes into this date montage, you see it's no longer a hangout, it's a date.
It's a date.
They're taking photos in a mini booth.
Yeah, which is come on.
Yeah.
Is that why we never do photos in a mini booth?
I feel like the only thing in our town was a mall, so I can't believe we didn't.
Oh my
do
gosh,
that.
yeah,
You're right.
So this actually took me back to where we grew up. There was this decrepit mall, but it had this arcade in it called Tilt, and it's it's just one of those places where it's yeah, of course, if you're of a certain age, that is where you all the haps happen,
Yeah, there's only 3 places to go in this town. There's the mini mart, there's the dojo, and then golf and stuff.
Right? Apparently, but golf and stuff can be the most romantic place on earth if you're in the mood.
I know.
And I do like the end where Miguel tries to make his move by showing Sam a karate stance. She obviously just body slams him, but then kisses him while he's on the ground.
It's a very
take
karate
charge.
Flirting.
Yeah, totally. They karate flirt like pros. Yeah. So the episode ends in this really nice way where you see Miguel and Johnny come together and they both are victorious and they have a real toast with some shitty alcohol that Johnny has.
I think Johnny giving a Coors is his third base.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Way to tie it all together like that.
I know.
So another thing that we have that we're considering is how will we celebrate wrapping up this season? When we make it to episode 10, how should we basically throw ourselves a party? I suggest that we just get a 6-pack of Coors and
drunkenly trim some bonsais together.
Oh, you're making it weird. Oh my god, you made it weird.
We've already been called out by one person for leaning heavy into Johnny's storyline and emotions, and we never really pay attention to Daniel. How are we going to honor Miyagi in this?
We should do something with a bonsai.
You know what? If I haven't given you a framed photo of Miyagi before the end of this season, I'm sure it exists. Lata's birthday is coming up soon, people.
And
So
I
give
could
us some
use a
gift
framed
ideas.
photo of Pat Morita for my wall.
Couldn't we all?
That's not weird at all.
Yes.
I've also considered enrolling us in karate lessons just so we can get like some real in-depth knowledge of whether the moves that they're doing on the show are plausible.
True. Oh, man. What would you say your rating is for this episode?
Okay, what's our scale? Wait, no,
You have to come up with your own. I
right.
can't help you there.
All right, okay. I will say that this episode warmed my heart and gave me 5 out of 5 stuffed octopi.
You are giving 5s out like candy, man. I'm going to say I didn't love it as much as episode 5. That's the current, favorite for me. I'll give it 4 briefcases from the dumpster.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, I like that.
As always, we would like to thank Dana for writing in and being our 4th Twitter follower.
Yes.
AKA our only Twitter follower that is not directly related to us.
It's amazing. I mean, this
know.
is really just,
Welcome,
again,
Dana, to the Twitter family.
giving us a reason to keep recording. Also, thank you to John, who almost always comments on our YouTube channel. We appreciate that, too.
Yeah.
We love you guys.
We will try to have more Twitter polls with asking absurd questions. You can follow us at Kai_cast on Twitter and email us all your burning karate questions at CobraKaiNeverDiesCast@gmail.com. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Strike first.
Strike hard.
No mercy.